Hey, welcome back to JG3 Reviews. My name is James, and today I've got a fountain pen that I want to share with you. This is the Ranga Abhimanyu. This, already you can tell, is a gorgeous fountain pen. Just look at that blue pearl acrylic. Really, really nice. But the beauty of this pen is more than just skin deep, and it has some interesting features in its design. So let's dive into that and what I like and don't like about the pen. So let's spin that camera and dive right in. All right, let's take a closer look at the Ranga Abhimanyu in blue pearl acrylic. And just take a look at that. Absolutely a fantastic looking acrylic. Hand poured, hand turned, hand polished, and all done very, very well. Kind of a unique design to this pen. Now, the outside is simple. The barrel tapers down to that conical end, and maybe it doesn't come across on camera quite as well, but it tapers quickly about here and then comes down. Fits in the hand very well. The ergonomics of this pen are quite good where that's concerned. The cap also tapers, but not nearly so much, also to that conical point. You'll notice that it is a clipless pen, but I would encourage you don't let that stand in your way unless it's just an absolute deal breaker, because this really is quite an interesting design. It is available in a lot of different materials, so you'll probably find a pen that appeals to you. For me, of course, this blue pearl, and then there's also a really neat acrylic that is a brown swirl, and they got some cool stuff over there at Ranga. Taking it off, and this is one of the things I like about their pens. It's going to be hard to count. Let's focus on, see that little line of chatoyance right there? Let's follow that. That will be, there it is again, and off. So one turn. It is a one-turn cap. And that seems like no big deal, but day-to-day use, that can be quite handy. One of the things that's unique about this pen is the grip section. First, before I get to that, notice all those threads. The grip section is somewhat long for a pen, no longer than this pen really is. But that means you'll be able to find your little Goldilocks spot pretty easily, and it means that even though there is quite a step down, which is, as you can see, at a nice angle, it looks like it's probably about 45 degrees, you don't really notice that, and it is polished smooth. That is not a sharp edge right there. Nicely done, Ranga. And then a long section that gives you plenty of room to get away from those threads if you want to. They're not uncomfortable threads if you're a far back gripper. This is actually surprisingly comfortable right there, even with threads and even with the step down. I'm going to credit that to the work they've done and the material they've used. You come down to the stop at the end of the section, and it certainly is significant, so it does stop you. And again, well polished, well edged, well smoothed at the edge, and that is not uncomfortable either, in case you're a close-up gripper. All right, as we come to that nib, you will notice that it is an unbranded nib. This is a number 6. Mine is a 1.1 millimeter stub, and it is made by JOWO. Normally, you have choices between JOWO and Bach, between steel and gold, and then a ton of sizes. I'm not going to list them all here, so go to their website, which is in the description below, and check out all the nib variety. Materials, nibs, steel, gold, all that good stuff. Then we open up the barrel, and what will you find? First, lots of turns here because it is an eyedropperable pen, although it comes with a Schmidt K5 International Standard cartridge and uses International Standard cartridges. Very versatile pen there, and of course I think you'd have quite a bit of ink capacity, though I have not tested what that capacity would be myself. All right, for our size comparison, pens all in different styles today. We have the Pilot Prera, and I put this here because I wanted to show you that while this is a smaller pen by far than that Ranga Splendor, it's not necessarily a small pen. It's a convenient size, but it's kind of that sweet middle ground between a Prera and a Lamy All-Star. And then just for other pens with really great materials and completely different design, the Pen BBS 480, inspired by the Schaefer Balance. Here we have the pens uncapped, and that does lessen the difference between these pens. Then we have the pens posted, and this pen does post well, although with the acrylic you may or may not want to do that in terms of protecting the threads and the finish. But as you can see, it actually becomes a pretty long pen, getting pretty close to that Lamy All-Star. All right, let's see how the pen writes. We'll let him hold on to the cap over there. And this is the Abhimanyu by Ranga. And it is a 1.1 millimeter stub. And that means you get lots of line variation. It's great for writing in italics, but it also just gives great line variation to your normal writing. So here is just a straight down line. Here are your side to side. See that difference? It really does nicely. Gives you great line variation. I think that's nice. Let's test it for wetness here. Nice and wet flow there. That's going to be great. This is, today's ink is diamine. This is majestic blue. Paper today is from Ayush. I thought since we were looking at an Indian pen, why not a nice Indian paper? I like their paper, and it does well both with a stub nib, and I don't know if you can pick this up, but the sheen on the majestic blue comes through nicely, at least in person. I'm not sure how well I can portray that here, but trust me, looks really good in person. All right, concluding thoughts on the Ranga Abhimanyu. What do I think about this pen? Well, take a look at that, and I think you know. You know, I'm a sucker for a pen with a material like that. It's just a thing. But it actually has substance. It is a good writing pen. It is a well-made pen. It's clear that it's made by people who care about their craft, and I really appreciate that. Love a cheap pen as much as anybody, and I use them all the time. That new Jinhao 82, for example, I'm using that right and left. It's the perfect size for everyday carry. It's wonderful. And I take it places that I wouldn't be comfortable taking this pen because, it might get damaged or lost. It doesn't have that clip. It's not always convenient to carry it that way. But as a pen to keep here at my desk and use, stub nib, great writer, and fun to look at, this is fantastic. And it's great value for the money. Is it cheap? No. But when you compare this pen to other pens in its price range, incredible bang for the buck. And when you throw in the level of craftsmanship and care, all the more, right? So here's my question to you. Share what you think in the comments. Do you like this pen? Do any of these things give you heartburn? If I was going to have any possible, they're not cons for me, but possible cons for you, it would be the lack of the clip. That would probably be number one. The next would be this step down, but I'm telling you, that is so well turned and polished that for me, my concerns absolutely disappeared because I was concerned about that. I was concerned about the step down. I was concerned about the threads there and the feel of this section because it has a unique look, but that can also mean it has a uniquely bad feel. For me, that is not the case at all. I really like how this pen is in hand, and it's a great writer, and I enjoy using it. You don't have to sacrifice an enjoyably comfortable pen to get these great looks and materials, as you sometimes do with some other pens. But what do you think? If you were ordering this pen, what color would you get it in? What material would you get it in? What would be your perfect Ranga Abhimanyu nib color and material. Share that in the comments if you'd like to. And as always, God bless you. And I do hope that you have a wonderful